This is just a basic tutorial on the minute ways you can adjust color. So this is just basic color correction that you can do for your assignments. Now, I always recommend white balancing and adjusting your white balance when you're on set, and it's best to make note of white balance issues while you're shooting because it can save you time in post, which is always best. Plus, I think it's best to be a technical and creative shooter. However, if you do have mistakes, then there are things you can do in Final Cut Pro. Again, these are just some of the basics. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and load Clock Answer 1 into our viewer. And I'm going to import it to the timeline. And then I'm going to go to the Effects tab in the browser, and then I'm going to go to Video Filters, hit the Reveal arrow by Color Correction, and then grab the Color Corrector 3-way and click, hold, and drag and drop to the video clip. Now you can tell that the color correcting filter is going to land on the video clip because you can see it goes to a darker gray color. This means I have successfully located the clip, and if I let go, you won't notice a change automatically, but if you double click this clip, it will load it into the viewer, and you will notice that you have a Color Corrector 3-way tab. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my playhead over my clip so that way I can see what I'm doing in my canvas when I'm using the color correcting filter. Now, when I go to the color correcting filter, if I hit the white eyedropper, this can be used to select white colors in your video, and you can see the white eyedroppers by the white circle, the gray eyedroppers in the midtones, the black is by the black circle. So I'm going to click on the white eyedropper and click on something that I know is white, not something reflective, and you can tell with just one click we got rid of quite a bit of the red. So if I hit Command Z, that'll take you and show you what we used to have, and then I can go back and redo what I did. So just one click is making quite a big difference. So what we're going to do next is we're going to use the black eyedropper. Now, I often don't use all of the eyedroppers. Sometimes I just use the white and the black, but you always want to use the white eyedropper first, the black eyedropper next, and then the midtones. So then I'm going to go something that I know is a deep, rich black. So I could go up here, but it might be hindered by the red tint of the wood. So I'm going to try over on her dress. And I'm going to press Command Z to see the change. So you can see that we're going to lose some of the red in her face and in her hair. So when I redo the black eyedropper, you can see I took out some of the red, which is great. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the midtones. Now, this is usually your gray eyedropper, so if you've ever used curves or levels in Photoshop, it's quite similar. Now, with the gray eyedropper or midtone eyedropper, you don't want to click on anything that's a silver reflective gray because it often reflects the colors of the colors around it. So it can give you a skewed reading. So I could try using the clock, but I know this isn't a true gray, nor is the wall or anything that she's wearing. So sometimes if I don't have true gray in my video, I won't use the midtone eyedropper, but let's check and see. We'll try somewhere on the shirt. See, I added a little bit too much blue, so I'm going to say undo, because it's better to have a little bit of red, peachy tone in the skin than blue. You don't want them to look like a zombie. So that is just the first basic thing you can do to color correct a little bit. Now you'll notice that these white little circles moved whenever we use the eyedroppers because it's saying that now the whites have more of a blue tone to counteract all that red and yellow. So if you have a red and yellow color cast, which means too much, then you move your circle to the opposite side to get rid of the color cast. However, she is still a little bit dark or underexposed. So I'm going to try to move a little bit of the slider bar underneath my midtones and try to lighten her up. Moving to the right lightens, whereas moving to the left darkens. So you only want to do a little bit at a time on each bar, because if you do too much, it looks too fake, as you can see right there. And a little bit on the black, but not too much. Now sometimes when you do this, it has a tendency to lighten it up, I think, a little bit too much. So what you can do is you can adjust the saturation bar down here on the bottom. Now saturation is basically how pure or how vivid the color is. So if you pull it all the way to the left, you'll have a black and white. If you pull it part way through, you'll have a little bit of color. And then if you go to the right, it gives you a little bit more of a boost or pure color. Now you want to be careful if you go too far to the right, they tend to look oompa loompa. So you only want to do just a little bit to add a little bit of a healthy human glow. and make a few more adjustments. You can also use these buttons right here. They are the auto levels, so I'll show you how to do the auto levels in a second. So what we'll do is we'll just load the same clip, go back to our browser, overwrite our clock clip, load a three-way color correcting filter. If you use the reveal arrows, you can always just go back to it, which I recommend. Double click it, and then if I click here, this is the automatic level for the white. This is the automatic level for the contrast, and this is auto black. Now you can see that it didn't do as well as our clip did over here, so I think it is best to often do color correction manually. We'll go ahead and close the gap by hitting Control, clicking between the two clips, close gap to where you can see the clips. I can also do a half screen by putting it above it. And adjusting my crop so you can see the difference. So just a couple clicks and a little bit of movement of your mouse can really save your image and make it look a lot better. Now this isn't perfect, however this is the absolute basics of color correction that you can do and that I will expect you to know for your midterm. Later in this semester we will go over some more advanced editing techniques.